welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, brought to you by our friends at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use the box at sign up for 10 points. And here we go.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show that, man, just loves to chase that little white ball around. Only from the Sports Box Network. I am Hamilton Mike Galletta, along with the golf pro at Trump National, my partner in crime, Dave Cartwright. David, what's up?
Mike, great Masters weekend. Kind of lived up to the hype, although Dustin, sort of lapped the field. But always good to see the Masters, especially in November. So great to be back, and look forward to talking about it.
Yep, absolutely. This is teeing off on the golf channel, the golf channel. Close. The Sports Box Network. We are on special time right now, 7 o'clock. We usually go on at 8:15, but today we're talking Masters. We will get to that in a minute and some other things. But first, make sure you're checking out CrowdPlay. Make sure you download it in the Apple app, Google Play stores. Put in the box when you sign up, get 10 free points. Phenomenal. Believe me, it's fun, but it's tough. I have like 10 points and I basically suck at it, but I do play it a lot, so it's fun. So check that out, CrowdPlay. Our boys over there give us a shout out. So we got some things to talk about. I'll throw up some stuff for you. Like you said, really wasn't anything in the way of competitive, but Dustin Johnson blowing the field away. And we talked about it before, Dave. I think you had mentioned before the end of the show that nobody's going to be minus 20. Well, Dustin Johnson was minus 20.
Yes, he was.
Tore this field apart. I mean, literally, we see Dustin Johnson a lot. We've seen tournaments where day one he comes out strong, day two he fades a little bit, comes back strong on 3 and 4, but is too far back. This was no contest, like we talked about. Just blew the doors off the field.
He did. I mean, he was 65, 70, 65, 68, but you know what? No points really in any round, especially the final round, did you feel like anybody was going to make a run, or for that matter, he was going to falter. He went with back-to-back bogeys 4 and 5, birdied 3, but then birdied 6, back to even par. Then I think birdied 8 to get back 1 under on the front. So no point. He was, I think Cameron Smith got to within 2 when he bogeyed 5, but it never felt like it was a contest. And that's more credit to Dustin Johnson than the rest of the field. He just played that well and was in control of everything. Yeah.
I was just going to say, like you said, when Cameron Smith got to even within 2, it didn't even feel like, well, here comes Cameron Smith. He's going to take it. No, DJ was just playing at a level where he was just, he was massacring the ball and being smooth about it too. He's get that strut, he gets that walk going. It's going his way. Yep.
No, absolutely. And again, Cameron Smith, like 15 under. He was, I think, the second golfer in Masters history to shoot all 4 rounds in the 60s, which 9 times out of 10 should win you the Masters, and probably he's winning it every other year except this year. And listen, the course played softer. It was November. Certainly wasn't playing as firm as fast as normally does because of the time of year. Greens were certainly softer, a little more able to hold shots coming in off the green, not as fast, so on and so forth. So it played, quote unquote, a little easier, but to sit there and if you told me somebody would shoot 4 rounds in the 60s and lose by 5, I said, you're nuts. But that's exactly what happened. So
yeah. And the funny thing is, Dustin Johnson shot 265s, a 70, and a 68. And like you said, just tore the field apart. Even though Cameron Smith played well, any other year, or if Dustin Johnson's done it, he wins. He probably pulls away in this. But to that point, Sun John M actually played pretty well too. He's been killing me in fantasy the last like 5 or 6 weeks, but he came on a little bit in this tournament. I mean, he played smooth, 66, 70, 68, 69, and was right there tied with Cameron Smith at the end. Maybe it's a sign of things to come with him. I don't know. I really can't get a read on him this year.
Yeah, no, exactly. Rookie at Augusta, which, listen, rookies traditionally struggle because of the green complexes, because of the local knowledge. Again, tied for second. I think he's 22 years old. He looks like he's about 40, but he's 22 years old, and he is I think this is the beginning of not necessarily a major tournament, but I think of winning 2 or 3 tour events a year and having a very, very good career. So I thank you, Mike Velarde. Yes, yeah, appreciate it.
Mike Velarde saying Dave Cartwright, giving a little pat on the back.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
You were all over Dustin Johnson. I'll give you that. You were definitely all over him.
Yeah. I think he was just rested. He had COVID, which was unfortunate, but was quarantined for a couple of weeks, and then had a great, great Houston, tied for second at Houston out of the quarantine break, and more importantly, Augusta's it's built for him. It's just built for him. He bombs it, but more importantly, hits the ball high. He can, keep the ball on those greens. And tell you what, his putter is very underrated, especially when it gets hot. He is a very good putter, above average. So,
and of course, my boy that I thought could make a serious run for this, Justin Thomas, lacked again on day 3 and 4, 71-70. Listen, the way he plays in days 1 and 2, 66, 69, I really thought that this could be an opportunity for him to really put the pedal down and really make a serious run. But again, day 3 and 4 turned out to be a killer for him. Again, he bogeyed. I think he bogeyed 15 and 16 coming down the stretch in day 3, and he bogeyed 2 holes early in the front 9 that killed him, that set him back.
Yeah. He's just, again, you can't quite put your finger on it because the guy's, probably more talented than 99% of the field. DJ's probably the only guy in the field that has a little bit more talent than he does. But you just can't quite because he's been in those moments. He's won a major, he's won plenty of golf events. I just can't put my finger on why he's not closing the deal. And again, that being said, I think you see a major in his future in 2021. I really do. It was at the Masters, probably not, but he's a great kind of U.S. Open, British Open guy. So,
yeah. So, and going back a little bit to Cameron Smith, I mean, we talked about it before the show. Cameron Smith, hats off to Cameron Smith because he played a really, really good round. I mean, he's a consistent guy in the wave. He's usually in the top 30. He's usually up there. He's steady. In the events, you don't see majors. He really does well. He's up there. If you play fantasy like me and you do, Dave. And listen, like you said, 60s, great round. Dylan Fratelli, I'm really surprised. There's a name you haven't heard of in a while. He had a good year last year. He played pretty consistent last year. This year you haven't heard a lot of him. I don't think he's been in a lot of events, but 65 did stumble on day 2 and 4, but 65, 67, day 1 and 3. Maybe again, turning point for Fratelli. Like I said, you don't hear him a lot at all.
Yeah, he's South African actually. South African. And he was his second year tour. He won a tour event last year, so does have his tour membership. Again, a guy that's you're probably going to see a lot of top 10s, almost like a Matt Kuchar, not the prettiest swing. But the guy that's going to win a lot of money out there, and he's not going to wow you with his distance, with his golf swing, with his putting, but top 5 in the Masters, he's doing something right. So,
yeah. Jeremy Beland, faithful Sportsbox watcher, says, you guys think the rain predicted this week's Masters winner? No, I mean, they had that bad rain on Thursday. Right. I think it was only Thursday. I don't think it was Sunday.
It was Thursday morning. They had the bad rain that they had to stop. I think it was more so the fact that they were playing this in November as opposed to April. And, I think it slowed the course down a little bit. It was a little bit wetter than it traditionally is. Days are shorter, so on and so forth.
Another great Sportsbox guy, Anthony Emilio, putting in, how about Bernard Langer? That was impressive. And you know what? I think he's now the oldest a qualifier for the Master. I think he made it by like a month or 2. But yeah, Bernard Langer, 64, I believe.
63, and he was the oldest to make the cut by, I think, a month older than Tommy Aaron, something like that. But 63, and then more importantly, in this 4th round finish, I think 1 or 2 under for the tournament, but beat Bryson DeChambeau. They were paired together on the last round, and I think beat him by 1 stroke. I think shot 1 or 2 under on Sunday, which is, I mean, unbelievable. A guy that's probably, 100th in driving distance and shoots 2 under at 63 years old, makes the cut. It just goes to show you what a tactician he is. Really, really what an engineer he is around the golf course. So around golf courses, I should say, especially at Augusta.
Yeah, and you got just move around a little bit over here. You got guys like CT Pan up there you haven't heard of. Big third day killer, 74. Other than that, 70, 66, 74 killed him, 68 last day. Brooks Koepka, I guess the knee's okay. Dave played pretty well.
Yeah.
Tied for seventh. I mean, you didn't hear about him a lot, but he came back. It made a little bit of a run the last day, 70, 69, 69, 70. Good for him. Then you got John Rahm, who I thought, again, you always think John Rahm, and he tears it up the first day, and then he just kind of steadily goes down and fades away a little bit. So,
yeah, no, he was tied for the lead after the second round. Yeah. Thursday, money basically was Vegas's favorite.
Yep.
Along with sort of DJ, but Vegas's favorite to, I think, win the thing. At that point, you think he's in the driver's seat. He ended up it makes us feel a little bit better. He almost shanked his fairway wood on the par 5 8th hole, and had a tree punching out, and just made a complete disaster of the hole.
Yeah,
and made me feel a lot better about my golf game. But it's just just a guy that you would say was Vegas time as a favorite after 2 rounds, and just didn't show up.
Yeah, and like Anthony's saying, he was hitting hybrids everywhere for Bernard Langer. However, to get it done. I mean,
I think he was 268 off the tee, average, which is nothing in this day and age of golf. So
no, but for a 60-plus-year-old guy who's
unbelievable,
make it. I mean, that's great. Guys, keep your questions coming. We love it. Frank Tutorio, does a Success Masters TV had competing with football give us a possibility of fall tournaments? No, I don't think so. I think that what hurt the Masters this year was the daylight. I mean, these guys are the first 2 days they were struggling. It was getting dark out. I think the second day they called because of darkness, and the third day they got up and they had to hustle to get that day in, and then go to the next round if they made the cut. So I think they want to get back on track in April, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of fall tournaments with the turning back of the clock thing. So
yeah, I mean, I obviously I certainly don't see the Masters that'll stay in April. That's where it'll always be, the second weekend in April. As far as other majors, they just moved the PGA back to May, so you're basically April, May, June, July now. I like the fact that we're going to move on to the RSB, I believe it's called. They change it every year, but the RSM, I'm sorry, RSM Classic at Sea Island. A very strong field, top 20, the top 50 in the world. So I think you're going to see a little bit more, as you said, the fall events are going to get a little more lucrative, and I think stronger fields. So.
Yeah, Frank Tutorio, actually, they did have a 3-hour rain delay. Yeah, on Thursday they did, but the Friday, I mean, that could have screwed them up a little bit too, because I know guys got delayed with that. Guys couldn't make it into the nighttime on Thursday, and then did the same thing on Friday. They ran over a little bit and ran late, and some guys got called for darkness. Now, some guys actually kept playing in the dark. You don't actually, when they blow that horn, I never knew that. I thought when they blow the horn, that's it. You're done. But if it's not, I guess, a weather or lightning delay, you can keep going if you want.
If it's not a lightning delay, you're absolutely right. You have the option to finish the hole or finish the shot. So some did, some didn't. Yep.
Yeah. No, I know. I think it was M was out there, and they went to him, and I think he was with Leishman. I think if I remember right, and he marked his ball, and he waited, but M kept going, and he put one back in the green. Yeah. So I don't know. Anthony Emilio again. Can you see courses being altered due to the equipment? A lot of talk before Masters. Can you see Augusta changing? It did for Tiger. Yeah. No, I don't see that yet. I mean, you see Bryson DeChambeau kicking the crap out of the ball, and these other guys are. But I don't think they're ready yet to do that.
No, I think what's the next thing you're going to see, especially at the professional level, is as opposed to changing courses, I think they're going to look at the equipment, especially the golf ball. Yeah. I see them sort of putting the brakes on golf ball as far as just dialing back a little bit as far as all the inertia stuff and spin and things like that. So I think the first move in the next 2 to 3, 4, 5 years is really going to dial back the golf ball, especially at a tour level. Not necessarily for amateurs, but I think at a tour level.
Yeah, see, that's interesting, Dave, because with the old saying is chicks dig the long ball. I mean, in golf, that's what a lot of people are kind of moving to a little bit is these guys really smashing the ball. I mean, you got guys hitting the ball now. Who knows, in 2-3 years, the way it's been trending, you're looking at guys hitting the ball 320 on an average, 330.
Yeah.
And DeChambeau is, these guys are driving par fours now. I don't say they're going to change the courses, but I like seeing that. I like seeing the aggressive style and, guys going for it and ended up, missing the green or something like that. It adds to golf, I think, a little bit.
Well, it does, absolutely. And I have no issue with it. And listen, Bryson, when the game plan at the US Open and absolutely just, played it to a T and destroyed the field. One by 6 or 7 strokes didn't work as well at Augusta, but I think what people are forgetting is, these long drive guys who hit the golf balls, 450 yards. Well, that's a skill to do that, but put them on a golf course. You have to drive it straight. I don't care how far you're hitting it, how long you're hitting it. I mean, DJ, again, drove the ball incredibly. Bryson didn't. Now, that being said, it's more to just driving the golf ball. So I think it's a skill to obviously hit it further, but more importantly, hit it accurately. So,
right. Question from Frank. DJ is the exception. He hit it long and still score. Bryson showed that he once again is a one-trick pony. Well, I think Bryson, I mean, as dialed in as he is with his book and the yardage and all that, crazy stuff he's got in there, he's just, I think, overly aggressive. He just thinks he can take on everything and hit every green. And maybe that might be a good style for some like DJ that can pull it off. But when you're like Bryson and, the second day, I mean, he was spraying it everywhere. It was just bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, and again, Bryson, believe me, Bryson's not going anywhere. You're going to see him in contention and in the Masters, which I assume is the next major pending, obviously the pandemic in April. And believe me, he'll be the favorite, if not, there's a top 2 or 3. So Bryson's not going anywhere. Did he have a great tournament, great Masters? No. Did he drive it crooked on the second day? Absolutely. But I mean, he's not going anywhere. And I think that, the big hitting and his sort of scientific approach, it's going to win him a lot of golf tournaments. So.
And I do think, if you remember right, I did say that I was a little shocked that he was a favorite, that high of a favorite.
Mm-hmm. You did.
I didn't think he was up that high. Maybe in the top 5 you could have put him. I don't know if he was number 1 in this tournament. I still think, like you said, DJ was still the big guy on campus for this.
Yeah.
Like Emidio says, they're generating so much club speed and they're in the gym. Yeah, I mean, just like any professional, you get in the gym, you're working out. I mean, it's what it is. It's just like a football player that. All these guys are pumping weights now. They're pumping up, benching 300 pounds and stuff, and they're getting faster, stronger, bigger, quicker. Same thing with golf. I mean, it's the same exact thing.
Well, I'm sure you saw a little of the practice range, but TrackMan, which is a $25,000 radar system, everybody has them literally in their back pocket now. They're carrying it around and they hit golf balls with TrackMan, and that's, you talk about, that tells you, to your spin rates, and it gives you about 1,000 numbers so you can look at to work on. So it's, it's the technology, it's the gym, it's, as you said, it's better coaching, it's better equipment, it's all the above, just like every other sport. I think, it's, these guys are so dialed in and so good and have such a great team around them that you're just seeing them, just golf is better. It's just getting better.
It's such a scientific sport now. Like you said, they just dial into every little tiny thing to make it better, like loft spin, your inertia, your club head speed. It's the real TikTok game now.
It is.
So, but let's go to the other news, because I'm surprised nobody's brought it up now, but bang, there it is. Tiger with 3 balls in the water, shoots a 10, and then says after the Masters in the interview with him, Dave, I need to get motivated. This is a guy who has won how many tournaments and how many majors, and he's got to get motivated now. This falls back into, he hasn't played in 4 or 5 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks.
He played. I think they were saying that. The Masters was his 7th tournament in the calendar year, in 2020, which is
nothing.
It just wasn't enough. Just certainly is enough. And I got to give Tiger credit. And, he made a 10 on number 12, the par 3. But went birdie 5 of his last 6 holes to shoot something 3 or 4 over. So I have to give him credit. But again, where's the motivation? If you're not motivated to play the Masters as defending champion, then where's your motivation?
Then you got to look in the mirror and take a.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
That's you're a guy like him that's won as much as him, Now you can't get motivated. You guys seriously do a little gut check and say, you know what? Maybe I'm turning a corner a little bit, and maybe I don't know. It's time, but it's not. He won't say that. He'll probably take off this week, obviously, with the RSM. It's not a big.
He's off. Yep.
Yeah, for a lot of these guys, it's not a big tournament. So, but speaking of that, we will talk a little bit about that. The RSM Classic. I got the odds at the bottom for you, rolling across. So, of course, Seattle Island Golf Club. That they're playing the Plantation course this year. They do play. I think they mix it up. Usually they go back and forth with different courses. I thought they were going to play both courses. There's a Seaside course and there's a Plantation course. I had told Dave before. I am, I guess, a little big of an announcement. I will be back on a tour next year if down with COVID. The Philadelphia Golf Week Amateur Tour. I'm looking forward to that this year. That is one of the courses they play in February as a warm-up course. Looking forward to play that. Dave, can you say anything about this course that they're going to be playing this week?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is similar to, it's not the longest golf course on tour. A lot of target golf. It kind of suits, I wouldn't call it the short hitters, but the straighter hitters. It's not going to favor a guy that hits it far. That being said, obviously, it's certainly an advantage to hit it straight no matter what golf course you're playing, but it's one of the shorter golf courses that play all year. And you're gonna find somebody that Webb Simpson had 10-1 who hits it very, very straight on one of the longer drivers of the golf ball. Is a 10-1 favorite, and it's it's going to set up for, I guess, a guy that you're not going to see probably guys that are top 10 in driving distance on the leaderboard.
Yeah. I think if I remember right, Austin Cook won this last year. I think
it was Tyler Duncan actually beat Webb Simpson in a playoff last year. So his first, I don't know, Tyler Duncan. I don't know if he's, he obviously playing this week, but I don't know too much about Tyler Duncan.
Him on the board. I could be wrong. He could be in this, but this is a field. I don't want to say that the big guys aren't in it, because I think that's kind of unfair to these guys that work really hard to get where they are on this course. I mean, it's a different kind of players. I mean, it actually, if you're a DraftKings guy like I am, and I think Dave is as well. This is a course this is a tournament you probably do well in, because there's a lot of guys on here that we always think that are dark horses that are going to sneak into this. So I like Tommy Fleetwood this week.
Yeah.
You got to like Webb Simpson. I think he's obviously the odds-on favorite, but I mean the odds-on favorite is 10-1. So that tells you something right there.
Not 8-2 or whatever it was here.
Right,
it's 7-1 like it was last week.
Yeah, wide open field.
Yep. No, this is they were saying that it's actually strong European contention in this field, which is not normally, because it's usually against the European Tour Championship, Tour Championship. But so it's a strong European Tour, top 20 to 50 in the world. Strongest field they've ever had, just because of sort of a COVID year and not really competing against the European Tour. So you got somebody like Ian Poulter, you got somebody like Terrell Hatton, Louis Oosthuizen, and guys that are big names on the European Tour. Louis, playing more on the American Tour now, but Alex Noren. So Jason Day, again, the list goes on. So, I think you're going to enjoy watching the golf this weekend. And, I was going to say, you'll see some birdies out there, this especially if the wind's not blowing. That's Seattle Golf Club. So
the nice thing is, when you're putting your list together, you can get a guy like Kisner. I mean, he's going off 35-1. I'll take Kevin Kisner all day long and twice on Sunday. I mean,
the way that guy puts, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a consistent guy. He'll get up there for you. I mean, you got Oosthuizen in it, who I like.
Mm-hmm.
So before the half hour is almost gone again, Dave. We just blow through it. I love
time flies when you're having fun. That's right.
Talking Masters and all that stuff. So before we get out of here, the RSM Classic, let's give a winner and say two guys that you think are going to get into the top 10.
Absolutely. I'm going to give. And again, this is shocking, hot off the press here, but Webb Simpson, who has, I know, as a winner, I know this is hot off the press, guys. I'm going way out of the realm of possibility. So the guy that's finished second last year, finished second twice, and you talk about courses for horses. Horses for courses. This is it. This is Webb Simpson. It's not a long course, target oriented. Webb Simpson hits as straight as anybody on the tour. He's due. He's absolutely due. The numbers are in his favor, and I see him winning it as far as a top not necessarily, dark horses, but Tyrrell Hatton, he's 10-1. I want to go a little deeper than that. So I got Justin Rose on the board here, who's had a very quiet year, playing in the events. Again, haven't really talked about him. And we're going to go with, there's still one out of your page, Tommy Fleetwood, go with the Europeans, playing in this event for the first time. But Tom, he's due. It's just simple as that. He's due. He's too good of a player not to, he won the Honda last year. He's too good of a player not to win a PGA Tour event. So Tommy Fleetwood, we'll go Justin Rose, and then Webb Simpson is my winner.
Okay. So I'm going to give you Mr. English that I always like.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be in the top 10 for sure. He's going to be up there. I'm going to take Louis Oosthuizen. I think Louis is a guy that's having a better year than he did last year. Last year, he kind of fell off near the end of the year, but this year he's been pretty consistent. When he's in events, he scores pretty well. And my winner is my boy Tommy Fleetwood. I think, like you said, I think he's due. And I think this is a tournament where, with a field like this is ripe for the picking for guys like this to really step up and play well. Not that I don't like Webb Simpson. I think Webb Simpson's going to be up there in the top 5 as well. I just think Tommy Fleetwood, like you said, he's been held down for a while now, and I think he's due to have a good game, and this is a good match, and this is the course that he can definitely do it on. So, so that's it. Another half hour come and gone of teeing off. We want to thanks for everybody for all the questions. We appreciate you.
Thank you for the interaction. That was great.
Yeah, we love answering questions. We love all this stuff with you. Any parting thoughts, Dave, about anything?
No, I would say that this is the second to last tour event at the 2020 season. They take Thanksgiving off, and then I believe they're playing. I'd have to look it up. I got the second to last tour event, so turn on the TV, check it out, and make some money. Put some money on Webb Simpson at 10-1, and hopefully that return on investment. So.
Yeah. So just a little special announcement. We will not be here next Wednesday. It's Thanksgiving week, so we want everybody out there to have a safe and happy holiday season for you. You and your family, especially in a time of COVID, be safe. But first, before we get to all our goodbyes and good love and stuff like that, make sure you're checking out CrowdPlay, downloading them on the Apple App Store, Google Play Store. Download the box when you sign up to get 10 free points. But if you don't know about CrowdPlay, check this out. Am I going to get this right one of these days? And that is CrowdPlay. So let me get all this off here so we can hop on out. So for myself, Hamilton Mike Galletta, and the golf pro at Trump National Golf Course, Dave Cartwright, my partner, we want to say thank you. Have a very nice Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yep. We'll see you back the following Wednesday. Have a good night.
Thank you for watching the Sports Box. Follow us on Facebook at Sports Box Show, Twitter at Sports Box Show, Instagram at The Sports Box Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our friends at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 points. See you next time.